Good morning, class. Welcome to the online classes for physics of class 10. In the previous sessions, we have seen about the chapter Human Eye and the Colorful World. So, this is a quick revision for your chapter. From tomorrow onwards, we will be going to start our revision for both the chapters according to the thumb 1 pattern, that is the MCQ 1. What we have seen that in Human Eye and the Colorful World, first one was the human eye, its construction and its function. And the second one, that is the colorful world, different light effects or the phenomena of light that we can see around us in our atmosphere. Okay. Now, what we have seen, firstly, our human eye, that we have seen that human eye is the God-gift sense that helps us to see or enables us to see the object around us. We can just identify the colors, or we can just see an object with the help of eyes, or we can say that any optical instrument around us just can be seen with the help of the eyes itself, right? So eyes is just a kind of a sense that helps us to see any object around us. So this is one of the useful or one of the important sense that we got from the God. Now we have seen the construction of eyes, that is the different parts that are present in our eyes. What we have seen that our eyes is just a kind of a lens of a camera. The first part of this eyes, because if we talk about eye, this is a complete round shape, right? This is complete a round shape which is having a different layers, and these layers are named, which can be seen as a number of the parts, right? So what is happening here, that our human eye, the first part in the figure, you can see that it is the cornea, right? The first thing which you are having on the outer layer is take to be cornea, that is a transparent but bulged out on the front part, that is bulged out surface that can be seen from the out as the cornea. After that, what we have seen, there will be a pupil and the iris, right? So whenever the light rays enters into our eyes, it just starts to travel from the outer surface of the cornea and then enters into our eyes. After entering through our cornea, now this will pass through our iris. Now what there will be, that this iris is behind the cornea, is a kind of a fluid structure also, you can say, because before pupil you were getting the iris, this is like a fluid structure. Now after that, the light will go through the pupil, that will try to focus the number of the light rays or converts the light rays, that how much it should enter into our eye lens. Now the eye lens will be there. The eye lens will be a lens which is just trying to focus our light rays, right? It will be converging or diverging our light rays that are entering into our eyes. So what is happening here, that these lens can move or they are movable, and these are adjusting the focus or the focal length. So how they are moving, like when they are moving, some muscles should be there, and due to this action of muscles, they are trying to adjust or they are moving. So what this adjusting part is due to, that is due to the muscles which it held with, and these muscles are said to be the ciliary muscles. And after that, the retina is there, which is around the last part, and this retina, where the image is formed, when it hits the light rays hits the retina, there will be image will be formed, and these retina have some light sensitive cells which generates electric signals, and these signals are sent to our brain, and that too with the help of the optic nerves. And these optic nerves will be sending the information to our eyes, and the brain interact with the signals and process the information, so that we can just see the object and we can identify that which color is present in the object and what is the size of the object, right? So these small cells can be just help us to generate the electric signals, and will try to make our brain to stimulate that what the object is present there and what is the color of that object. And there is a spot or the place where this optic nerves and the retina are just joined together. The point where these are meeting are said to be the blind spot, where whenever the image or the light reforms on this blind spot, the image is not formed, or we can say that at that time we cannot see the object's image. Okay, so what are the parts which we have seen? That is the pupil, iris, cornea, retina, optic nerve, ciliary muscles, and one crystalline lens. Okay, and what we have seen, light sensitive cells, that were rods and the cones, which we have seen in last class, and this helps us to focus the object. Similarly, but in camera, what we used to do, that it is the focus is just fixed, that this much focus will be there and it can be fixed value of it, but it cannot adjust. But here in the eyes, our eye lens can just focus in an object and it can just change its focal length, because it can move with the our ciliary muscles. Okay, and what else we have seen? After that, the power of accommodation, that is the ability to just adjust its focus, or just make focus an object, or to adjust its focal length, is said to be the accommodation. So what is the power of the accommodation? That how can it just see an object, and how can just focus adjust by the eyes. So we know that whenever the object is kept about 25 centimeter from the eyes, it is comfortable and convenient to see that object image, right? And after that, when we take it distance less than that 25, then also we cannot see that near point, we cannot see that object's clear vision, or the clear image is not seen. It can be seen in the form of a blur image. So on taking this object more distance or more farther, then also we cannot see, but we can say that the focal length will be till the infinity. So object, wherever it is till infinity, we can just see the object's image, but it is less than 25 centimeters, and it cannot be seen, right? What else we have seen? After that, we have seen the effects and the defects that we are having in our vision due to this eyes, right? What effects are there? First one was myopia, or the short-sightedness, we can say near-sightedness also. So in myopia, what it happens, that object or the person can only see the object that are near it by. So he can clearly see the object only which is kept near to its eyes, not at a distance. And if we talk about the hypermetropia, that is a long-sightedness, then the object kept at a distance can be seen, but the near object cannot be seen. So just to clear this myopia, that is a short-sightedness, the light rays which are coming from the parallel light rays when are entering to our eyes, it to just correct this myopia, what it will do, that it will using the concave lens. So concave lens are suitable to just get the image at the back of the retina, and this will help to clear the defect or correct the defect of myopia. Okay. And next one was hypermetropia, that is the object at the far can be seen, that is far long-sightedness. The object kept at the near cannot be seen. Similarly, here also we can use a lens just to clear out or correct it. So convex lens is appropriate for this to make its power adjustment, and by using the convex lens we can just get corrected our long-sightedness problem. Okay. After that, we have talked about presbyopia, that is the person which weakening of eyes, we can say that it is done due to the weakening of the eyes or the weakening of the ciliary muscles, and due to this weakness of ciliary muscles, our eye lens are just loss due of their adjustment, you can say. It is more difficult to adjust their focal length. So this is the problem which happens due to our weakness in the ciliary muscles. So here the two types of lenses are used, because both the long-sightedness and the short-sightedness, both were using concave and the convex lens to adjust the focal length for the near length and for the farther one. But here the effect decreasing the power of the muscles. So we just have to adjust it with the help of the lens itself. And here the two types of bifocal lens are used, that is the two focal length of the lens will be used, that is one upper part will be of a concave and the lower part will be using the convex lens. So two types of the lenses of different focal length are used. This effect can be only seen in the most of the aging person, because this happens due to naturally that weakness of the ciliary muscles. And we also have seen the effect one more, that cataracts that happens in our eyes, and it cannot be corrected by using this lens or by using the spectacles, but surgery used to be done to clear it, right? After this, we have seen that the refraction of the light through a prism. We have seen that whenever the light ray enters to our prism, one of the medium where the light ray can enter, the other medium from where the light ray is coming out. So this is what the phenomenon through the prism is said to be the refraction. So refraction will be the part where the light is moving away from or towards the normal through the prism, and these two lateral surfaces through which the light is coming out is known as the angle taken between these two faces will be taken as angle of prism. So this is what the prism, how the prism is, and here the refraction can be taken. So one will be the incident ray, again it will take the normal, and from there it will get somewhat deviated, then again it will move to the other surface, and from there it will be coming out, that is the emergent ray will be coming out from the surface, and the angle between the normal and the emergent ray is given as angle of emergence, and this angle is taken as the angle of prism. That is, you have seen the A or the top of the prism, that is one end of the prism is taken as angle of the prism, and when this normal rays are taken, the angles between the emergent and the normal was given as angle of emergence. Incident ray and the means normal is taken as angle of incidence. So when these rays are extended at the backwards, that is emergent ray and the incident ray, the point where this meets, so there the angle is formed, which is said to be the angle of deviation. Here you can see the part D, point D, which can be given as the angle of the deviation. Okay, so this is the bending of the light rays through the prism, which is given as the refraction of the prism. So one of the application for the of the light or the phenomenon of the light in the prism is that whenever a light ray, that is a white light, falls on the prism surface, then these light rays get refracted from it and get outwards from the other surface. And we know that the phenomenon will work here, that is the dispersion, that is the white light is having 7 constituent colors in it, which gets splits up into 7 colors, and this phenomenon of getting splitted into its constituent 7 colors of this white light is said to be the dispersion. Okay, so this components of the light, 7 components will be there of this dispersion. These 7 components are taken as Vibgyor color, that is violet, indigo, blue, yellow, orange, and then red. 7 colors which can be seen in the rainbow also, because it is one of the application of this phenomenon itself, that is by the dispersion we can see the rainbow, but in the atmosphere. So if you take the prism, that dispersion can be seen, and in many other things you can see this dispersion, like you can use your scale, that plastic scale, then also we can see this, but the medium should be correct. And similarly we can see in the bubbles that we use to blow, okay, there also you can see. So there are different places where the dispersion happens, but prism is the best example where we can see the dispersion of this light rays into its 7 constituent colors. So this band of light rays which we are getting out from the prism, this 7 colors band is said to be the spectrum. Okay, and one of its application, that is a natural phenomenon where it happens, is the rainbow. So any light ray that is entering the prism will get dispersed into its 7 constituent colors, and they get refracted and will be refracted by the incident sunlight, because here the sunlight will be falling into the raindrop, and in the raindrop the internal reflection will take place, and after the reflection it get refracted outwards and it get dispersed into its 7 constituent colors, and these 7 constituent colors can be seen in the atmosphere. So we can say that the sunlight as well as the raindrop both are required for getting this dispersion of the atmosphere. So there we can see the rain. Now if we talk about the atmospheric refraction, then what it is, that is when the light ray is bending. So refraction happens in the atmosphere also, because what we can say, that is our atmosphere is having different layers of the air, and when the sunlight is coming from the sun, then it will passes through different layers and will be entering into our earth's surface. So what we can say, that different layer will have different density. When it is less dense, the layer lighter air, we can say that it is hotter, and if we talk about the denser air, high density, then the atmosphere will be cool. So when this light rays passes from the height or the less dense to the low high dense medium, then we have learned that the light rays used to be deviate, that is they are moving towards the normal, away from the normal, and before that we have seen the image formation is there. Here we can see that this apparent position will be happen, that is because we are having different air layer, so different fluctuations will be there for the light ray, and the position of the image will not be correct. We can see the image but it not at the correct distance and not at the correct size. So this is due to the apparent position. Like this example can be seen in our atmosphere by the twinkling of eyes, because when the light rays this wavering and the fluctuations will be there due to the effect of the atmosphere and the refraction in the atmospheric layer of the earth, it's said to be the wavering, and after these wavering there will be a twinkling of the star, because there in the whenever the starlight on entering the earth's surface, it will get continuously refracted before reaching the earth, and we can say that the changing refractive index will be there, and there due to this bending of the starlight towards the normal, because it is moving from the low dense to the higher dense mediums, so there we can see that the apparent position of the star is different from its actual position, and we will be seeing it somewhere else, that is the position will be different, apparent position will be formed other than the actual position. So that is it's seen in the horizon also, where the sun, that is sky and the land meets at a point, that is said to be the horizon, and the horizon also can be seen at a different point, that is earth is seen in the different positions from the horizon. So as the path of the light that is coming from the star, it gets slightly varying, and the fluctuations of the star and the amount of the starlight entering the eye, the star sometimes appear brighter, and sometimes it will be just dull. So there we can say that we can see this stars to be sometimes brighter and sometimes to be lighter, due to which we say that the stars are to be twinkled. So atmospheric reflection is the reason for the twinkling of the stars and the apparent position of the star. Similarly, we can see it in the sunrise and the delayed sunlight, that is 2 minutes before the actual sunrise we can see it, and after the sunset we can 2 minutes after the sunset we see the actual sunset. Okay, so this is also because of the atmospheric refraction. If we talk about a scattering of light, we see in this in the atmospheric, that is the blue color of the sky, or we get the green color of the sea, that is different sea green we can see, or the blue color in the oceans also. So this different colors is happening due to the scattering. So what we know about the scattering, that is a light ray passing through any medium. If we talk about a solution, that is a intermediate particles will be very small, and if we talk about the true solution, there is the intermediate particles are very less, that is a, if we talk about the colloid, that is the intermediate particles will be somewhat larger than that of the true solution. So here the particles will have some intermediate particles more than the size more than that of the true solution. So scattering also affect here, because the light rays when traveling through the medium present in a beaker, if we take an example that if we are having the solutions in the beaker, like sugar solution, that will be the true solution, and if we talk about the colloidal solution, then we will be having the intermediate particles bigger than that the true solution. So here we can see the scattering of the light, and this scattering will be taken as a, if we take it in the colloidal particle, then the phenomenon is said to be the Tyndall effect, that is in the colloidal particle this phenomenon of the scattering of the light is said to be the Tyndall effect, and this phenomenon can be seen in the different forms, like Tyndall effect can be observed in the sunlight when it passes through the dense forest also, tiny water droplets also, and this due to the blue light that happens in our sky, that is also can be seen due to the phenomenon of the Tyndall effect itself. And the scattering of the particles is large enough when it is having a longer wavelength, that is the scattering light will have a longer wavelength, and this can be seen with a larger value. Okay, so this is what the effect for the sky's color blue, because the molecules of the air or the particles that are present in our atmosphere have size smaller than the wavelength of the visible light, and what we have read that the scattering light have the shorter wavelength will have the more effect, and the larger wavelength have a red end, that is we can see it in the red color. So this is having a short wavelength, so that we will getting a blue color, because in deviation we have seen that the angle of deviation, that is whatever the wavelength is more, so the bending will be less, and if it is having the less wavelength, then the bending will be more. So as the red light is having the large wavelength, so the bending will be less. And here we are talking about the less wavelength, that is shorter wavelength of the particle. So here the bending will be more, and we can see that the shorter wavelength will have a blue color. So this scattering of the blue light enters our eyes, and if the earth had no atmosphere, then the scattering will not be happen, because scattering should have the different, because our atmosphere contains different colloidal particles, so the refraction will be done in our atmosphere. So what we can say, that here this light enters our eyes with a short wavelength, that is the blue color. That's why whenever we see our sky from such heights, it happens that it seen to be in the blue color. Okay, and if it is talked about the red color, then it is only happen when the fog or the smoke is present in the atmosphere. So this is due to the atmospheric refraction and the scattering. So similarly, color of the sky, sun, due to the sunrise and the sunset, it is due to the sun that is overhead, can be seen as a shorter distance, and that is the sun appears only at a little of the blue when it is at our overhead, that is at the noon. And when it is talked about near the horizon or due to the sunset, then most of the blue light and the shorter wavelengths are scattered away, so that the light reaches our eyes, it will be of the larger wavelength, then it will be reddish in the color. So we see different colors of the sunrise and the sunset through our eyes. So class, tomorrow onwards we will be having the revision of these chapters. At that time we will be seeing what type of the questions will be coming in our board exam, that is your term 1 exam. Okay, so thank you class. Again we will be starting revision for both the chapters, that is light and the human eye.